Alex Tubbs, we're on Navy Pier. We're at the regionals. You're running this whole thing, is my perception.
I'm not running it. I'm in control of the media department. I'm the regional media director for the NorthCentral region. And my job is to make sure our articles, videos, and now the live feed is working properly. We have this year for this region, which is different from last year, we have a live feed from CrossFit HQ that demands a lot more resources than it did last year, and I have to make sure they have those resources, volunteers, internet connections working, things like that. And that's my position there. I'm also in charge of our writing staff and the social media team. So I don't do much of the media that comes out, but I make sure it gets done.
Sounds like a big job.
It is, but it's a lot of fun. Small things come up here and there, but for what we do and the staff that we have all weekend, when we get our system in place on Friday, there's some headaches, there's some fires that we have to put out, but Saturday and Sunday are smooth sailing because everybody knows what's going on, everybody knows how things work. So.
When I worked for you last year at regionals, you put us all down in a little windowless room far away from the action.
Yes.
Have you done that again this year?
Well, the social media team is on the floor, and they get to walk around in our media pits because they need all access to the event. But the writing staff does have a windowless room this year again, which is just the limitations of the facility. But when our head writer is writing the articles, she needs a quiet space to focus on what she's doing, as opposed to being down in the action where distractions.
That's why I've only seen Nicole once in 3 days.
Yeah, she does great work. But she's running around getting quotes, but then she'll go up and transcribe those quotes and get it into the article.
So you're able to personally see a lot of the action.
Yes.
What's the most inspirational thing you've seen in the first 2 days from an athlete?
There's been a few. The hundreds workout is just a daunting task from all the athletes, and I hadn't seen that in person yet. It was slow from our perspective. It took most of the day. But just watching those athletes get through that was extremely impressive. My favorite moment was probably the final men's heat of the deadlift box jump. I was watching Kyle Kasperbauer, and he was poised to take the lead and was doing really well on the box jumps and the deadlifts. But then Alex Nettie was coming up right behind, and he kept going on. And then Alex was ahead of Kyle in the last 9 box jumps, but he tripped, and his box almost fell over. And I thought Kyle was going to take it from him, but then Kyle had to take off his belt and breathe, and then Alex finished it up and jumped on the platform just with excitement.
I think it's safe to say Alex Nettie is surprising many people this weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a I forget when he started competing in CrossFit Games, but he's been an individual competitor, I believe since 2008. He might have been on a team that year, but he's been around as long as anybody, and now this year he's starting to make some waves. And he's
pretty cool.
He's a contender this year for sure.
So not only are you busy here, you're a busy man.
Yeah.
Tell me, but I believe you're running 2 CrossFit boxes up in St. Paul?
I'm a coach at CrossFit St. Paul, and the company that owns that is also owning CrossFit Minneapolis and CrossFit St. Louis Park. So I float around all 3 gyms, but I'm a primary coach at CrossFit St. Paul. And I help out with their media when I can, but I also, during the season of CrossFit Games, we have to publish articles during the Open, leading into regionals, so that was part of my job.
Have you had to make trade-offs in your own training as a competitive athlete? Because you used to compete regionally.
Yes, and when I was offered the position of regional media director last year, I had to make the decision, do I want to do that or compete? Because my team last year, CrossFit Progression, did make regionals, and I could have competed on the team, but as the director, I had to choose. Either be the director or compete. I couldn't do both, and for me personally, I couldn't make the games. I'm not at that caliber yet, so I decided this was a great opportunity for me to work in CrossFit, which I love, which is one of my goals, is to make this a career. And it was an opportunity, and I took it. So it was a big decision, but I'm happy I made it, and I came back this year.
I congratulate you on how well run this event is.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a great staff.
Now my last question is, Dave Castor was here yesterday. Does he stick his head in and go, Alex, everything running? All the switches flipped? And
my goal with Dave or really any of the administrators at CrossFit HQ is if they don't talk to me, I'm doing okay. Sometimes they do reach out and say, good job, keep up the good work, if we do something awesome. But as long as they're not saying, hey, you need to pick up on this, I'm happy. And
That
that was
good.
yesterday. He said hi to me and left us alone, which that's a success.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, Alex.
You're welcome.